Welcome, everybody. WaywardCityGames.com. I'm Jesse, here with my buddy Jeff.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Today we're talking Machinedramon. This is a personal labor of love for me. If anyone that's been to the shop knows, they're probably sick of me playing it, but it has seen so much evolution, and it just keeps getting better and better and more different, and there's just so many different ways to play it. I'm going to show you my favorite way to play it, and then we're going to get a little feedback from Jeff, because I know he played the first version. He's the one that showed me this deck, and I hated it. This was back in EX1.
Yeah, what a fun way to play it. Of course, now it's completely different.
I didn't fall in love with it until BT7 when you got the Chaosdramon, and that's when you thought that you didn't like the deck anymore.
Yep, I would have sworn. I said, do not use that card.
Yes.
It gets in the way of the consistency.
Because it stops the protection, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But let's start with the deck. So I play mine a little bit different. I know some of you have probably seen some decks that play these color variants, but we'll get into what makes mine a little bit different as we go along. So you probably won't be surprised, some of you, if you're Machinedramon followers, with my egg choice. So we're going to start with Demi Vmons. So if you're going blue, you kind of know what I'm going for here. But this is a perfect blue egg because it goes perfect with the boy. This is the best egg level 3 combo in the game, in my opinion. It doesn't matter what other colors you're running in the deck. If you have these and you can manage to get Vmons in your first hand, you're getting that draw. You're getting double draws, and you're getting free security checks, and it creates a threat on the board that your opponent has to deal with on their next turn, unless they're going to just let you have more free security checks. Yeah, the Vmon's going to die, but it creates color consistency for the options we're going to get into in a little bit. And also, it's a menace on the board, essentially. It's an early menace that just starts you out real nice.
Do you think Bandai knew what they were doing when they built that pair together? Do you think they knew it was going to be perfect for Mega Zoo?
I don't know. It's so early in the set. I mean, you're talking a BT3 cards. I mean, they keep giving us new alt arts. And what are your thoughts on this alt art versus the Ultimate Cup alt art?
That's such a tough call. It really depends on the deck. I think if I'm playing, green and blue, I think I'd go with the other one because the Wormmon in the background.
I got you, yeah.
But I think I would agree 100% that is the best one.
I love it.
The box topper is so nice.
So while we're talking level 3s, of which there are not many in this deck, we'll keep the Vmons out because they are technically level 3s. This is a staple that I don't think anyone argues with. I don't think you can get rid of this card. It is just too good to run a 4 of.
There's one argument you can make.
Yeah.
There's our alt art.
Oh, yeah, that is the alt art. That's the argument.
That is the argument. We need an alt art of that Haguru.
Where is it? Because everything else, EX1 has been getting alt arts in Machinedramon.
I've been falling in love with that card for Justimon, for Raidenmon, for my own machine. Such a great card.
People using D Brigade?
Yes,
no, yeah, D Brigade
right.
too, right? Yeah.
Yep, D Brigade. It's a great card. Gets D Brigade in the trash. Helps Darkdramon quicker.
Yep. So I mean, in Machine, you have to draw with Machine, and in a Zoo style deck, drawing is the hard thing to do. So it really doesn't get better than this card. Yeah, it doesn't get better than this card.
It is a great level 3, and it's also another one of those things too that right at the beginning, right when you're setting up, and you still got a free swing at security. Early pressure is so nice.
Yep. So that's all the level 3s I run. That's it.
Really?
So that's it.
That's it for your 3s, huh?
That's it for my 3s. You're either going to go with Vmon and go crazy aggro, or you're going to build. You know what you're going to like even less than that?
What am I going to like less than that?
I only run 2 level 4s.
Only 2 level 4s.
Only 2 level 4s. I've experimented with going more and going less, but I think 2 is my sweet spot.
2 is your sweet spot.
Because you get the extra draw if you Digivolve on the Hagurus.
Yep.
And then obviously, you can put something out there for you to Digivolve level 5 on if you want to, because a lot of these level 5s have when Digivolving effects that you don't normally get to use in a Machinedramon deck. So, yeah, I'm good with the 2 mechs.
So what do you think of the Gardramon? Did you ever try that from EX1?
I have tried that, but it seems like with people running so many memory deniers in this format, deniers or Psychmons and stuff that they want to swing, that they could potentially swing for game with, this just creates like a nice little no.
And that 4 play cost, you can't beat that.
You can't beat it. And plus, if you run into we have seen a lot in our locals, some D Brigade players There was this guy who ran Rookie Rush for Store Champs. I don't want to say any names. We don't need to talk about that. But this is a good counter for just to have on board. It's a good way to pass turn if you're not necessarily ready to do your big machine plays.
Yeah.
It's a good way to pass turn, leave something on the board that you can Digivolve on, or just leave out there, because it also will proc some tamer effects that we'll get into in a little bit.
Perfect.
All right, now the big question.
The big question on everybody's mind.
Level 5s in Machinedramon.
And what do you play?
First of all, how many do you play?
How many? See, I'm torn. I feel like 14 or 15 is my happy number. I think at one point I tried 13, and I don't think I hate 13 either.
Yeah.
But I think I'm at 14 at the moment.
Okay. Because that's the tricky part about Machinedramon, right? Is you can't play doubles. You can't.
Yeah.
You won't gain memory if you do doubles, or
Correct.
you can't place doubles. So.
Correct.
But that's what Chaosdramon's nice, because you could tuck a double.
That is true.
And that's kind of where I'm going back and forth with the new Chaosdramon coming back. The new Chaosdramon does not have that restriction.
Oh,
So
you're
you can
right,
tuck
huh?
3 of the same cyborgs under there if you want to.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So there's some stuff coming up. We're
There's
gonna
certain fives you
Yeah.
should play more than one of.
absolutely. You ready to see them?
I absolutely yes.
All right. So let's start with my 2-ofs. So my 2-of level 5s. We're gonna start with the Andromon. So the Andromon's great. So it's just a blocker. So essentially, we're looking at inheritables initially here. So while this Digimon has machine in its traits, it gains blocker. So I think blocker is probably one of the most important parts of this deck, to make sure that your Machinedramon is a blocker. So I run 2 of those. And while we're on that vein, there is one more cyborg you can run that will turn it into a blocker.
Oh, 2 of each, huh?
2 of each. Now,
I think I'm doing 2 and 1.
2 of which one?
I think I'm going 2 of the Megadramon.
Yeah. This is the more universal one. If I was going to reduce one of them down to 1, it would be this one. Running the Mechanoris does make this nice, though, because this one does have a when Digivolving, and it lets you search out a Machinedramon
You're right.
or a Chaosdramon, so it's kind of nice. This guy, though, when we get into the bigger plays, I'll show you why this is so important and why this makes the deck so much better. Because when you do Digivolve on top, and it's not a machine anymore, it still becomes a blocker.
You lose that machine.
Yeah, you lose the machine, it becomes a blocker. So this one is kind of a pain to find. I mean, it's not terrible. You can get them off TCG and stuff, but it does come in an out-of-print starter deck.
It's still a good artwork.
Still a great artwork, yeah. Okay, moving on.
When are we going to get an alt of that, too?
Oh, hopefully soon. All right, Metal Greymon.
Ooh, the Metal Gray.
This-
I did not see that coming. Is that BT7?
This is a BT7. This boy
Wow.
is fantastic in the deck,
Okay.
particularly for the Chaosdramon, also for the on-play. So
On-play.
I personally don't run any red tamer, so I'm not going to use that part of the on-play. But the
Really?
important part is the second part of the on-play does not matter what color of tamer you have. If you have an analog youth out, this guy will still only cost 5.
Yeah,
Very
getting to that 5 cost could be really
5
good,
cost
huh?
level 5, very nice. It's a very good play if you don't have your level 6s, which this deck does brick sometimes. If you can't pull your searchers, or if you just pull a hand of level 5s. If you can get an analog youth out, or one of the other many tamers that I have in this deck, it is very useful just to hard play this for 5. Now, the other good part about this, the inheritable. When an opponent's Digimon is deleted on your turn, you gain a memory. So we'll get into why that's good, and I'll show you the combo of that when we get into my level 6s. But that is just by far bonkers. It turns games.
I'm going to have to put one of those in mine. I think that's a great choice. I didn't think about that one at all.
And then the Menace, the one that nobody likes, or the one that everyone likes too much.
Ooh, there it is.
There's the Metal Gray. So
What a
if you're not
great
playing
choice.
this in a Greymon deck, Machinedramon's the one to play it in, because it makes your machines turn into killing machines. So it just makes them just menacing. When they're out on the board, they can attack anything. So
Your opponent can't put anything down without you just killing it anyways.
yeah, especially if you're playing against another zoo player, from what I've found, it's really menacing because they're not digivolving and staying safe in the raising area, so they have to start on the board. And if you have, a 14k Machinedramon out that can swing at anything, or a 15k Chaosdramon out that can swing at anything, they can't even get their stack started.
Yeah.
So it's a Not to mention, it's got a great when digivolving that you're generally not going to use in this deck unless you go on top of a Mechanori. But you know, the D-Digivolve 1, delete a 3 cost or 3K or less, beautiful. So those are all my 2 costs. These are kind of the VIP cyborgs, I would say, that because you always want to have blockers. You want to be able to play for cheap, and then you also want to be able to attack anything. So I don't recommend on running any 3-ofs because it's going to be really hard for you to get that memory back on the Machinedramon. So these are my VIPs.
Yeah, back in EX1 I ran, I think 1 3-of. But now that we finally have more cyborgs, there's no need.
Yeah, there's so much variety.
And there's more coming.
Yeah.
How are you going to find that room?
You just trade them out, man. You just find what you don't need, and you just find what you think you can replace. You ready for some spice?
I am ready for some spice.
Okay,
these are my with that metal gray.
These are my 1-ofs.
Okay.
And these are the ones that kind of tested true. Some of these aren't very popular, but I like them. So we're gonna start with the 2 boys. We actually just did a BT6 unboxing, feel free to check that out on the channel. But we went kind of in depth into these, but I run a 1-of of each of these guys.
One of each. Yeah, those are great.
So you get 2K on my turn with this one. You get a 2K on their turn with this one. They're both only 6 cost, so once again, not terrible to play.
Especially if they have a memory tamer. You have your memory tamer.
Yep, you're just giving them 3. You're using your 3, and then you got a level 5 body out. They're both black and red. So on your turn. So yeah, I mean you can't beat that extra DP boost. I mean this is the combo that goes with all these. I mean, well with this one anyways, because if you're swinging at stuff, you want to be a bigger body.
Yeah, get that extra DP. That 2K seems really nice.
Yeah, what's better than 2K though?
I mean 3K, right?
Yeah, right. So why not, right?
Well, absolutely.
So especially in this format, when you are seeing D Reapers and you're starting to see things where you want to swing over them. Right, so when you go into a Machinedramon, you get to pick your boys. If you got both of these, your 11K Machinedramon becomes 16.
Wow,
can swing over damn near anything with the Metal Greymon.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not? Why wouldn't you put those 2? And they're both independent. They're both different cards. Don't recommend on using the when attacking if you have this out by itself, but you know.
You know what's great is both of those don't necessarily require you to be a machine either.
They do not. So when you go even into bigger, you can get we'll get into that in a little bit. All right, next up. This is kind of one that I've thought about going 2 of. I just haven't found the room yet, but it has become very important.
That's the one I was going to ask. That's the one I ran a 3 of back in EX1.
Yeah, no, Reboot's really good, especially for blockers. So in this format, but I've been having really good success with this. I'm toying on, if I were to go to 2 on another one, it would be this one.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, it's almost working so well for you that you think you need it more, but maybe it already is at that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Because it does work so well. I don't know. That's tough.
When I dig so much, I tend to always find it.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. So it's tough. But if I were to go to a second one, that would be that one. And then we have a Machinedramon from BT9 from the latest
new
set.
One.
Love this guy. So this is a menace on tamers because most new tamers are not 4 costs; they're all 3 cost.
All the 3 costs. Yep.
So you're popping, especially if you're playing against like Mastamon decks, you're popping those Meikus, you're popping the black tamers, like all the new little guys.
Yep.
So you're just swinging, boom, 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 knocking them out. This is gonna be. I might think about going to 2 of this in the next format when we get into X-Ross or X-Cross, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, cross.
So, and it deletes or a Digimon 3 or less, so you get to choose. So
that's pretty universal.
It is pretty universal, and it also has a good when digivolving. When digivolving is the same thing as its when attacking. So if you do have to digivolve into it, you're not going to be hurting. So good card. Moving right along with kill stuff when you swing. We're going Metal Mame. Love the alt art. We finally got the alt art on this guy. Deleted Digimon. Play cost of 5 or less when you swing. Really nothing else to say about that. Just a great card. A lot of things are 5 costs or less. Yeah. Moving along. Machinedramon. So these are all EX1. They just decided that people didn't like the artwork from EX1, so they're just giving us reprints of all this good stuff.
Except the Haguru.
Except the Guru and the Metal Tyranno. Those are the only 2 I think that we haven't got reprints of. So Machinedramon. I guess I can put this one up here in the middle. See it a little bit better. So Machinedramon, machine, you get a security attack +1. That's pretty good, right? All the way around. My other favorite part about this card is it's got a fantastic on play. So on play, delete 2 of your Digimon or 2 of your opponent's Digimon 3K or less. You can't beat that. I mean, it's a great power play when someone's, especially if you're playing against hybrids. I mean, you're deleting Bokos, Nemons, everything, and you're ending your turn, decimating their rookies, and you end the turn with a level 5 on the board.
It's a great response to a turn 1 alpha.
Yeah.
You know, if they play a Dorumon or Ryudomon or whatever, or if they went second and they're playing 2 of them, you just pop them both with that.
Yeah.
Great card. I played that as a 2-of for sure.
Love it. And then the final spice that is not super popular, but has done wonders for me, because like we talked about, you can only run certain amounts of these level 5 cyborgs, and you can only gain memory from having variable amounts. Well, there's only 2 cyborgs that give you DP boosts on your turn, right?
Okay.
So if you want to get over another Digimon, and you can only boost your DP so much, what's the other strategy? You reduce your targets.
What is that doing in there?
Right? It's a red-yellow.
That's crazy. I would not have thought of that.
This is my other ace in the hole. I love this card. It won me 2 games yesterday in locals. It's great. I mean, it pairs well. You're essentially giving your Machinedramon another 2k DP, or you're swinging, deleting something, and you're just killing a free rookie on the side. So
Wow.
basically, I mean, if you're looking at some crazy stacks here, any of these stacks kind of stacks up to be a good stack. I mean, if you're looking at a stack like this, you're swinging, you're deleting a Tamer, you're deleting a 5-cost Digimon, and you're minusing 2k to something. You can kill 3 bodies before your swing even goes through.
Wow.
You know, a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool combos. These are my level 5s. Feel free to comment. Tell me how terrible this is and how much you hate it.
So
but
16 of them.
16 is my number, because
Wow.
I do not like bricking on these. I want all that memory back when I play that Machinedramon.
Absolutely.
And I'll show you how you dig through all these. I'll show you what we do.
I'm really liking your choices. I'm going to have to revisit my list.
So these are level 5s. So level 6s is going to be a real short conversation.
Yeah.
Obviously, the boy. And his brother. So we're running 4 and 4. I know I have toyed with running 3 of the Chaos. I've done that before. It's not necessarily my favorite, because I do hard play the level 5s more than I used to, as far as the Metal Gray goes, or like we were talking about with the Megadramons, Gigadramons. There are lots of, I got the 5 cost, the 6 cost. It's not a terrible play to play that and then just Digivolve this on top of it, because you are getting to tuck 1 more, and it'll delete 2 6k bodies.
You did that to me yesterday. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not bad. Well, you were playing EOS, so I didn't feel too bad. But yeah, no, these are great. I'm going to leave these out because I'm going to show you how the rest of these cards combo on these cards. But these are the main protagonists of the deck. These are what you want to find. You don't trash these if you don't have to. You tend to hold these in your hand because you need these cards. If you have 3 Chaos Dramons, sure, you can use a Hagurumon to trash one because you're not going to need 3. But I would say never get rid of these. So once these are in your trash, they don't come back.
Nope.
All right. We're going to go level 7s last. Let's talk Tamers.
Level 7's last.
Because the level 7s are kind of like it's a gimmicky thing, but it's a good gimmick. So let's talk Tamers. Let's talk Kazus. I run 2 Kazus. Start of your turn, gain a memory, or start of your main phase. Gain a memory if you have a machine. So that's where the Hagurus, the Mechanoris, it's nice just to have a small machine on the board, proc that. The thing I like about Kazu is even if you choose not to attack, if you suspend any of your Digimon to block on your opponent's turn, you can still draw 1, trash 1 with Kazu. So definitely this is good draw power for Machinedramon. So biggest thing about Machinedramon is just digging. You want to make sure you got to get the Machinedramons in your hand. You got to get Chaos Dramons. You got to get the pieces in your trash. So Kazu is always great for that. Moving right along on that vein, we're running 4... your favorite tamer, and slowly becoming my favorite tamer.
Analog Youth.
The youths.
I love Analog Youth.
There is no better way to get parts in your trash than
Oh,
Analog
absolutely
Youth.
not.
There's no way. Like Analog Youth, you got 3 cyborgs that you pull, because that's why I run 16.
Yep.
2 of them go in your trash, 1 goes in your hand. You got 3 of the 5 parts for machine already.
Already, yep.
Such a good card. So I don't recommend running any more or any less. Can't run more. Don't run less. I've toyed with trying to go down to 2 of these in this deck, and I lose every time.
How great is that artwork, too?
It's too good. It's too good.
It's too good.
It's too good. And then we're going to run... So we run a lot of tamers in this deck. Lots
of tamers. Yeah, more than I expected.
All digging tamers, essentially, except for one. So we're going to go 2 Izzies. 2 Izzies are nice. So you're going to argue, how often does that memory thing proc? And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, not very often.
You don't ever gain 1 memory of all your
very
different colors?
rarely when I do, I'm just going to win this game because my luck is already there. So I'm digging the Izzies just because it lets you rearrange the top 3 cards of your deck. And that has come in so clutch for me just in the past couple weeks of just playing this deck. I veered away from it for a while. I was doing the black tie for a little while.
You can get the extra DP.
You can get
make
the extra DP,
stronger.
But man, just being able to scout ahead and see what your next turns are going to be lets you really play ahead for what your opponent's going to do. Because there's a lot of strategy in this deck. Whether or not you got a strategy when you're going to do the big play for Machine.
For any of these who do not know how to play Mega Zoo, you really have to commit to your strategy, right? And that means you have to know, okay, if I have to hard play this, give my opponent 5, give my opponent 6. So that way you have your next 2-3 turns set up. That's really amplified here in Machinedramon. This is arguably the funnest way to play Zoo, or Zoo style.
Zoo style, yeah. And then last tamer, this is my spice. If the Rise Greymon was the spice for cyborgs, this is my spice for tamers. I play one of starter deck 5 tie. This came up multiple times just last night at locals.
Multiple times, really? What does that card even do?
So it basically turns your Machinedramon into a little Mechanorimon. So basically what it does is whenever you use your blocker to suspend a Digimon, so whenever you block, you can tap tie to unsuspend, doesn't have to be that Digimon. You can unsuspend any other Digimon you have on the field. So it's really nice when you have a Mechanorimon on the field and you have like a suspended Chaosdramon that's just waiting to get killed. They attack. Even if you suspend your Mechanorimon to block, Mechanorimon will probably die, but you can tap tie and unsuspend and save your Chaosdramon or your Machinedramon, whatever you want to do. So any of your blockers you can pretty much use it to unsuspend. So moving into that, it's also a 2 cost, which lets you memory choke a little bit better, and it opens up using my favorite option that we've seen in the recent sets. I guess we can clear these off. We'll get into options. So moving in to options, I run 2 of Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon. For whatever reason, this card was not even on my radar when this set came out.
No, same.
And then it came out, and I was like, that's an amazing card.
I don't know how I completely skipped over it either.
No.
It's just, yeah.
So if you're not aware what this card does, basically, it lets you blitz with Machinedramon for game.
Not only blitz, it lets you rush too.
Yeah, blitz,
which
rush,
is insane.
Yeah. It's so good. So basically, that's kind of why I run a lot of black tamers, but it's partially why I run like a 2 cost, because since I run the blue eggs and the blue package in the early side, I have to have something black on board to play this.
You're right.
So basically what it does is you play it, and then you can trash 1 card with Cyborg and Machine in its traits, which you're going to probably want to do anyways. But you have to be able to do that to activate the ability. And then what it does is it gives all of your level 6s with Machinedramon in their traits rush. And if they have Digivolution sources, they also get Blitz.
Got it.
So it's basically just meant for Machinedramon.
Yeah. Or Raidenmon.
Or Raiden. Well, yeah.
Any Raidenmon fans out there?
Yeah, that's your deck profile. We'll get into that in a little bit. So basically, it's a really fun way to end the game. I mean, a lot of people grumble for game, Lobo for game, but you're pulling out a Machinedramon with 5 sources just to smack them in the face to win the game.
That's just style.
It's fun. And then not to mention, it does have a cool security effect. You may trash, so if they hit it in security, you can trash one of your own Digimon with Machine in its traits to delete a Digimon on their side of the field with the same or less play cost.
Oh, so it's actually removal too.
It is removal.
Wow.
So I think the highest we have right now is a 12. I believe. Yeah, so 12. So we don't have any big machines yet. Raiden's 12.
Raiden's 12, yep.
Yeah.
I know I'm messing with that with Raiden. I was trying Ultimate Bracky, which is a 10.
Yeah.
And then I went to the BT2 Machinedramon, which is a 12.
12.
For
Okay.
that reason of that card.
Yeah. So honestly, I don't see this in security very much. It's usually one that hangs out in my hand. That's why I'm only running a 2 of it. If we're talking black options, we can get into the ultimate connection conversation now if you want.
That's a tough call.
It's a tough one.
When I played, black without the blue, right? Maybe you should go and show them why you're playing blue before we get into this
All
conversation.
right. Yeah, we'll throw it in. Let's do it. Okay. So the reason I play the blue base, if we're talking options, these boys right here.
Just one of each.
One
really.
of each. I have tried this 100 different ways, running 4 Kaiser Nail or 2 and 2. These cards only come up at the end game. So by the time, with all the draw power you have in this deck, you're going to see one of these in your hand or in your security. So you don't necessarily need to have a whole bunch clogging up your hand. It's much better to have...
It does clog, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's much better to have the extra level 6s or the options or the tamers or the setup. If you put 2 of these, you will see them. That being said, there are several games where you don't even use these.
Yeah.
They don't always come up, but when they do, they pretty much end the game.
Makes it worth you to play blue, huh?
Yeah. It does. Because if anyone doesn't know, essentially what you're looking for here is your Machinedramon will play with 5 cyborgs underneath it. Oh, you got my cyborgs? Just give me 5 randoms. That's fine.
Oh.
So we'll play with 5 cyborgs underneath it. And then let's say you got like 5 more in your trash, right? So essentially you got your Machinedramon with his big old stack. You're going to Digivolve into Chaosdramon for 1. You may or may not tuck another one. A lot of times if I have one of these in hand, I won't tuck another one because I need it for the next play. So you can Kaiser Nail your Machinedramon out for 4. But if you tuck 5...
Yeah.
You're going to gain 5 memory, so you're going to net 1 memory back. So you're going to have a Machinedramon, you're going to have a whole stack underneath it, and you're still going to have this big boy right here. Now, you're going to say, well, why do you run Tidal Wave?
I was just about to ask you, why not 2 Kaiser Nails? It's cheaper.
It's actually not. It's another reason why I run 2 of these. So if you notice, so this Metal Greymon has an on play. If you have a Tamer in play, you gain 2 memory.
You definitely have enough Tamers.
I do have enough Tamers. So essentially, if you Machinedramon, you gain 5. If you place 5 cyborgs under it, right? Well, you're going to gain 2 if you Metal Greymon.
A free Tidal Wave? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
So you're going to end up, you're going to go from 1 body to 3. And this one's going to have, all this good stuff under it. So essentially, this is what you're looking at from playing one option. And that's why it's worth playing the blue package in the base.
So is the Tidal Wave not a 2 of?
The Tidal Wave is not a 2 of because sometimes you don't always have the right pieces to run that. But I like having a 1-in-1. There are times too where I have Kaiser nailed out Mechanori from a level 5 that's on top of it. There's multiple uses for these. The Tidal Wave is also really fun to hit in security. It hit yesterday.
Absolutely.
It hit yesterday in security, and it just won me the game because I went from 1 body to 3.
And then did you end his turn with all the memory you gained?
I did. And then I had all the bodies. And it just swing for game because he didn't have enough security. He wasn't betting on me having 3 bodies because he had 2 security left. So it just turned into a really cool thing. So it's a really fun mechanic if you don't know, or if you don't know how it works. Oh, and it does also... Thank you, Jeff.
This is my favorite combo, guys. It's beautiful.
You can also do all of this action and give Machinedramon Blitz and Rush in the same turn. So very, very, very cool option. Also able to attack and swing when you Kaiser Nail and Tidal Wave out.
When you did that to me the first time, you played Attack of the Heavy Mobile Digimon, and then you Kaiser Nailed. I think you blew my mind. I don't think I've seen a combo that I just appreciated so much more. You gained a positive one memory.
Yeah.
You brought out a beautiful Blitz Rusher, Machinedramon, with just all of the good inheritables. Wow. Absolutely terrific.
You know, my other favorite part about this card is mixing it with this, because you can blitz into any Digimon you want on the board.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
So it's also very, very threatening that way. So, very cool techs. I think the last thing we have to talk about is the level 7s.
Now, I know you were messing around with a couple different groups of 7s. So what did you ultimately decide on?
Well, you know me. I am an Omnimon fanboy. I have loved those cards since we made our Omni Zoo decks and everything else. But, you know, in this format, if you can't beat them, join them. And I've learned that the hard way. So there we go. Three Death
X's.
One thing I found about this deck is that this deck it's not a fast player. It is one that you're kind of like, you get the setup going and you want to make sure that you stay safe while you're getting all the pieces you need to build your big robot, right? This is just kind of like a security play. So if you're building your pieces and you're milling and you're playing all your tamers and doing that while they're building a big board, these are amazing just to have in your hand, just for when you're ready to make that big play. Because they're building and building, they're playing tamers, they're playing little guys, and at any point during that, you don't feel comfortable with how far they're getting, you just revert them back to another place.
Just by hard playing that.
You just hard play it.
Which is perfect, because you're already hard playing your 5s if you need to. You're hard playing Machinedramon.
And that's the best part, too. So if they do play a Psychmon, or if they're kind of keeping tamers off the board in anticipation of this, there's no reason you can't just do that for 6. And the cell has the same effect, still just as threatening, and it lets you Kaiser Nail out the Machinedramon. So it gives you another way to play your Kaiser Nails and Tidal Waves. So yeah, so that's kind of it, guys. That is what I've been working on. Like, it's the cure for cancer for, I don't know, the better part of 6 months. Been playtesting this all kinds of different ways, all kinds of different tamers, all kinds of high ends, low ends, different color bases. This is the one that I think it's the best, and I've been having the most fun with it. But let me know what you guys think. If there's something different you guys think I should play, there's different strategies, like let me know what your level 7s would be. And don't say Alter-S, because we've tried those. They're not good. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us here at Wayward City Games. This is kind of the full layout of my Machinedramon list. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our other videos. We're doing some box breaks. We're doing some other deck profiles. We got some more fun stuff coming up. Any other words, Mr. Jeff?
I think you nailed it.
All
I think
right.
that deck is too good for its own good.
All right. Well, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.